Handheld is ridiculous. Pure cinema. That was the literal, real-time reaction from our source when they were testing the device we're looking at today. And honestly, it's the absolute perfect place to kick things off, because in this explainer, we're breaking down a piece of gear that completely shatters what we've all come to expect from handheld smartphone footage.
Welcome to the explainer. Today, we're unboxing, assembling, and thoroughly testing the X300 Pro photographer kit. We're looking at a deeply fascinating piece of technology here that seriously blurs the line between a standard smartphone and a heavy-duty professional camera rig.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the photographer kit experience, assembling the camera rig, core specs under the hood, and finally, those real-world cinematic results. Let's jump right in. Section 1. The photographer kit experience.
Just opening this box is an event in itself. Our source noted that the whole experience begins with this luxurious suit-like pull tab, which reveals a massive array of specialized gear. You get the X300 Pro smartphone, packed with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of ROM. But then comes the actual hardware. I'm talking a Type-C connected imaging grip, a rugged phone strap with a carabiner clip, a kickstand case, and this massive bayonet-style telephoto extender. Oh, and a filter adapter ring too. The sheer volume of tactical gear included here literally turns this phone into a true craftsman's toolkit. It's built for creators who want serious physical options.
Section 2. Assembling the camera rig. Now, what really makes this kit stand out in our super digital age is the tactile physical progression of putting it together. Step 1, you snap on that soft touch case. Step 2, you slide the Type-C imaging grip down the guided channels until it clicks perfectly into place. And Step 3, you twist and lock that huge bayonet telephoto adapter. With just a series of incredibly satisfying clicks, you go from holding a bare phone to gripping a comfortable weighted cinematic camera equipped with a customizable button and some extremely serious external optics. And this brilliantly illustrates the device's main appeal, which we can call the hybrid advantage. Think about it. You get the physical feel, the stability, and the tremendous reach of a professional camera. But because the brain of this whole rig is still a high-end smartphone, you have zero need for SD cards or USB cables. You shoot with legitimate interchangeable optics, and then you can edit and post the image instantly, right there on the device.
Section 3. Core specs under the hood. Okay, before we look at the breathtaking photos, let's compare the X300 Pro to its standard sibling to see exactly what's powering these massive lenses. While the standard features a 6.31-inch display and a really unique pearl or pink color shifting finish, the X300 Pro scales up to a 6.7-inch display, packs a larger battery, and crucially includes a dedicated Pro imaging chip along with 10-bit log video capability. It's essentially a Pro Max equivalent, specifically tailored for professional video capture.
But at their core, they do share some absolutely incredible technologies. Both devices are powered by the lightning-fast MediaTek Dimensity 9500 processor, built on the TSMC N3P process. They both feature unbelievable 90-watt wired flash charging and 40-watt wireless flash charging. And you've got to check out this display brightness. It hits a blinding peak of 2,000 nits for bright outdoor shooting, but can drop to a minimum of just 1 nit. That gives you a super gentle viewing experience, even in a pitch-black room.
200. That is the staggering megapixel count of the AVA Telephoto Camera built natively into both of these phones. Just let that sink in for a second. 200 megapixels. And that's accompanied by 50 megapixel wide-angle and front-facing cameras too. The sheer resolution available here, even before you attach the external lenses, is absolutely mind-boggling.
Section 4. Real-world cinematic results.
So what does this all mean? How does all this glass, those 200 megapixels, and that pro processing power actually translate into real-world images? Well, let's start with bokeh, that aesthetic, creamy blur in the out-of-focus background that perfectly isolates your subject. Because of the external telephoto lens, the X300 Pro produces squeaky clean, genuine optical bokeh. Our source pointed out that because the subject isolation is so authentic, even standard 1080p footage looks undeniably premium. It really goes to show that proper optics matter way more than just pure resolution specs in a lot of scenarios.
Just watch how these optics change the game as you zoom. At 1x, you get your standard flat point-of-view experience. At 2x, that background blur starts emerging. By 3.5x, which is an 85mm equivalent, you hit optimal portrait mode with incredibly pleasing subject flattening. Push all the way to 10x using that 200 megapixel mode, and you capture incredible macro detail. Snap on the external lens, you can reach up to an 800mm equivalent. As you push through these ranges, the physical lens flatters human subjects in a way software simply cannot fake. Then, of course, there's optical image stabilization, or OIS. This is a hardware mechanism that physically moves the lens or sensor to compensate for your hands shaking. When our source was fully zoomed in on a flock of Canada geese, shooting 4K video at a high-speed 120 frames per second, the OIS made the handheld tracking look totally locked off and smooth, like it was mounted on a tripod. That is pure cinema, right from the palm of your hand.
Having physical optics on a smartphone completely shifts your creative mindset. Look, we've all experienced the cruise ship blob, right? Trying to zoom in on a lit-up ship in the distance with a normal phone and just getting a blurry, noisy mess. But with this gear, you unlock the J's game dream. Imagine sitting all the way up in the nosebleeds and capturing crystal clear action right at home plate. When you have this kind of toolkit, you just naturally start experimenting and looking at the world totally differently.
Ultimately, the X300 Pro challenges us with a really fascinating question. Does the ultimate creative toolkit still require an SD card? When you can achieve this level of stabilization, true optical bokeh, and immense zoom reach, all while maintaining the flexibility to edit and post immediately without needing a bulky traditional camera body, it absolutely makes you wonder about the future of photography. So, what do you think? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.